It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the Elizabethtown College Blue Jays head women's basketball coach, Coach Veronica Nolt. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Brandon.
Thank
How
you.
are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how you knew that you want to get started in coaching in college women's basketball?
Yes, when I was a young person, I lived next to a basketball court. I was very close with my high school coach, Patty Howard, who's legendary in Pennsylvania. And so I knew early on that I just always wanted to coach. Didn't know where or at what level, but then in high school, I also got to see Pat Summitt quite a bit, coached the 1984 women's basketball team in the Olympics. And so that really piqued my interest to perhaps be able to coach the college level someday.
As a kid, what was that experience like getting to see Pat Summitt?
Well, at the time, I only got to see her on television because of the Olympics. Prior to that, we really hadn't gotten to see women's college basketball on television very much. This was the early '80s at that point. So, and luckily for me, I got to meet her several times as an adult, though. And to be completely honest, I was flabbergasted. I was paralyzed with my words. And so it was pretty awesome. I met her several times and she was always very gracious and wonderful, but it's pretty neat.
What was that experience like for you getting to play collegiate basketball at Millersville?
I was really fortunate to have that opportunity as a young person. And so I enjoyed it. I had teammates that I enjoyed that I'm still friends with today. So it was a pretty special opportunity.
While at Millersville as a basketball player, what was that experience like putting on that jersey and what were some of your accomplishments?
Well, my experience putting on the jersey was Millersville's black and gold. And so at the time, I was really reading a lot about Rocky Bleier, who played for the Pittsburgh Steelers, has a great story about being a Vietnam, being the military in Vietnam, getting shot up and then coming back and winning 4 Super Bowls in Pittsburgh. And I got to meet him prior to going to college and was able to go to dinner with him and a group of people. So my aspiration was, because we were also black and gold at Millersville, I wanted to wear number 20. So it all worked out. It was great. I was pretty fired up about it.
After your collegiate time, what was it like being an instructor and being a basketball instructor?
Well, I was a high school coach and I did some other things first. I was a basketball instructor while I was raising my children. My husband and I have three children. And so that was kind of my time away from being a teacher, um, but staying connected to the game. I really enjoyed it. I coached about 150 kids over the time, with all sorts of accolades and some that were just young kids wanting to learn the game better. I really enjoyed it, got to meet a lot of wonderful people through basketball.
How was that experience like for you getting to coach on the high school level as a head coach?
I was very young. I think I was 24. So it was humbling and wonderful. I got to this day, I'm still close with a lot of those girls on that team, and that's 30 years ago, of course. But we built a program that they weren't very good, and they became very successful in just a few short years. I just had the right combination of people, I think. They worked very hard. They bought into the new way of doing things, and it's maintained lifelong relationships, which is really unique.
For you, what was that feeling like coming to Elizabethtown and first being an assistant coach?
I just felt so blessed. I mean, what a great opportunity. At that point, I was a stay-at-home mom. I had got out of teaching. I was giving private lessons. And so I just felt very fortunate that as my kids were going to school and they were getting a little bit older, that I was able to come here and, get back into the swing of things in terms of just coaching every day. I really enjoyed it.
What were some of the things that you learned as an assistant coach to then help you to make that transition?
My goodness, there are certainly plenty. I think the big thing is just being who you are and not trying to act like the head coach. I don't mean in the way of that role. I just mean their personality. Your personality and the head coach's personality typically are different as the assistant coach. You would hope that people are bringing in people that bring different things than what you do as the head coach. And so be your own person, I guess is maybe the better way to say it. Use your personality, because you'll attract different kinds of people and communicate in a different way than maybe somebody else with a completely different personality. That's probably the biggest thing I learned. Just be yourself.
That feeling like when you got announced as the next head coach for Elizabethtown?
Certainly a little bit unbelievable for sure, but God had a plan, and I was grateful to be a part of it and just see what I could do where I'm at.
After taking over the program for Elizabethtown, what was that feeling like stepping into the role as a head coach and leading the program?
I just decided I was going to find the best people I could around me to make it an enjoyable experience, because nobody knows how to really do the job until they've done the job. Certainly, and that's always evolving, every day, even now, all these years later. So I just wanted to make sure, first of all, I had the right folks with me. And Tom Gunther has been my assistant coach from the very beginning. And what a blessing he is. Very different personality, very different skill set. And so he's been with me from the beginning, and Dave Dubbs with me in the beginning. So we kind of got started on a great page because we were all working together.
As a head coach, what was that like, building that coaching staff around you and the players around you?
It was fun because my role as a head coach, I really look at it as I am putting a puzzle together, right? My personalities, my abilities, my assistant coach's abilities and personalities, certainly my team and the women that I'm bringing in to be a part of our team. And so it's kind of like being a chemist. It's kind of like being a jigsaw puzzle, expert or something like that. So that's what we're trying to do. You just find the right combination of people. And I like people. I enjoy those challenges, those personal challenges, with just making people come together as a unit and putting aside our individual goals.
What was that feeling like for you as a head coach stepping onto that court for the first time?
I don't remember specifically, but I'm pretty sure I was probably nervous. But I think I do remember our first home game, what we won, and I felt a big sense of relief. Yeah, I do remember. In fact, that's one of my favorite pictures. I don't have very many pictures, that I remember from coaching, but that's one that I remember thinking, oh, I really like that, because everyone was just so happy.
What was that feeling like the first time you did get that win as a head coach?
Yeah, I was just really happy to celebrate with my assistant coaches. I think we all just felt very joyful that, you know, you always worry, can we do this? And of course, we're not the ones playing, it's the student athletes that are playing, but you also, tie some of your own emotion certainly into that because of all the work you put in. We were very happy, absolutely very happy.
What does a typical game day look like for you as a coach versus for your players at Elizabethtown?
Boy, game day's busy, of course, certainly. If we're traveling, it looks a little bit different. We're doing our normal reviewing of things, maybe getting some individual workouts in, traveling, getting a shoot around in before we go, if we can, fit one in time wise. Just trying to be very efficient with the time, because we're trying to keep the girls in class as long as possible and not have to leave early. On a Saturday, it's a little less hustle because you don't have classes not interfering, but, to work around. So, we just make sure we get a good breakfast, get a good shoot around in, get some good stretches in, and, enjoy the day.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've built for the women's basketball program?
Yes, I think I'm kind of a no nonsense kind of person. I'm very upfront, I'm very honest. And so I'm looking for people who enjoy that kind of experience, because, I want to make it an enjoyable experience for all of us. So I think the culture is really based on just honesty, integrity, character, class, all that kind of stuff, strong work ethic. And because we want those types of women so that they will attract similar people, right? It's that critical mass kind of thing. Once you have a certain amount of people that really behave a certain way, you're more likely to attract the same kind of people. So that's what we're looking for in terms of culture building.
Who are some of the teams in your conference that you compete against each week?
We are in the Landmark Conference, so some of the teams are Scranton Catholic, Susquehanna, Homing is new, Widener's new, Goucher, Juniata, Drew, Moravian, and us. Yep, I got them all.
What is that home game atmosphere like when teams like Catholic comes to home versus going to Scranton?
I think the atmosphere, when we're playing, you know, games that tend to be just really well attended, let's say it that way. I think that it's just very fun. I mean, this is a game. We're not, splitting the atom here or anything. I love those kind of game atmospheres. I love big games. It's fun to be competitive. And do it in such a way that you feel good about the effort you put forth. I think the fans really get into it. We really get into it. Everybody wants to play in front of a crowd, that just makes it more fun. So I very much enjoy all the games that we're playing, regardless of who we're playing, when there's a nice crowd there.
What does that recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes? And as a head coach, what do you look at in those prospective student athletes?
I'm really looking for the quality of a person. I mean, obviously you can look at film or watch someone play and have an indication if they can compete, with your team and be, make your team better in some way. But for me, it's really about their personalities. Is this a person who, suits us in a lot of ways? I'm looking for red flags. I'm looking for things that might be concerning behaviors or concerning attitudes, or maybe some baggage that I don't really want to have to deal with. I want to enjoy my day. I want to enjoy my team. More importantly, I want to give these women who are on our team and who have committed to our team an amazing experience. And that's hard to do if you don't have the right combination of people. So that's really, really important for me to recruit the person, because if I'm really recruiting them, I've already established the fact that they probably can compete. So the recruiting the person is really important. Having them meet our young women to see if that's a good fit. Very important, because we want people who want to be here. And I don't want to talk anyone into coming to E-Town. I want people to be like, oh, I would love to come there because it's a good fit for me academically and athletically. So that's exciting.
What is it like getting to see them fall in love with the campus and the basketball facility?
It's the best. I really enjoy our young women. We've gotten a lot of updates this year in Thompson athletics. We've done a lot of upgrades for our weight training facilities, for our film room, for our lounge areas for the student athletes. And so that's been really exciting, in particular this year, as they're coming in and seeing all these new things that we've done to improve athletics, in the summer of 2024. So it's pretty cool. They get very excited, their eyes light up, and it's like a little kid on Christmas. So I do really enjoy getting to see that.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen put on that uniform for the first time?
I think for them, that's such a big moment for them. I like to just stand back and watch, because, they come out for media day and they've got their uniform on and they're coming out of the locker room, and I look at them and I can just tell they're bursting a little bit with some pride, certainly excitement, to have this opportunity, because we've talked about it for so long. Obviously they will have practiced prior to that. And so to get that uniform on finally is kind of like probably a relief and a joy for them, that it's just, okay, I finally kind of gotten that first step on this college athletics journey.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing those seniors put on that uniform for the last time?
Oh, it's so heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking. Until someone's a senior, you're very close with them. You are rooting for them all the time. And I try not to think about it until the game is over. I mean, I really try to compartmentalize in that moment, because, if you get to the opportunity to be in the playoffs, you don't know when the last time is, and so that's a blessing, certainly, because you don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of tears. I think there's a lot of tears, at least from my end, not necessarily always in front of them, but it's just that you become so close with them. When they start, they're like your children, and as they're on the way out the door, you have a much different relationship, because you've become close, as a coach and student athlete do. And so it's hard to see them go, for sure.
What is it like getting to see your basketball players getting to represent Elizabethtown and putting on that logo?
Yeah, I just think I just feel a lot of pride for them. It's the work that they've put in. Certainly, I am um, a spectator in that moment, and getting to see they've been the ones doing the work. They're the ones in the gym, lifting, running, all those types of things that they're doing, practicing their skills. So I have a great moment of pride every time when we do the national anthem, and I see the whole team lined up. That really every time gets me a little bit, because I'm just so proud of them and all the work that they've put in, and the opportunity to play college basketball is rare for a lot of. I mean, it's not many kids that playing in high school that get to play in college, and so I think that's pretty special for them. And I always make sure I take the time to relish that moment for them. and with them.
As a coach, what is it like getting to see them after their senior year going into whether it's being coaching or getting into playing professional basketball?
Well, if we would have a professional basketball player, that would be pretty amazing. We haven't had one to my knowledge at this point. So many of our girls eventually do get into coaching. A lot of our girls are getting advanced degrees, masters and doctorates, etc. But many of them go right into the workforce. And so they, play summer league. And, I like to enjoy watching them play their summer league. But we haven't had the opportunity since I've been the head coach, at least, for anyone to play professional or overseas or anything like that.
What are some of your future plans for the program moving forward?
Well, I think we want to keep doing what we're doing and try to do it better than we've been doing it. Certainly we want to create a great atmosphere. We want to be a successful basketball, program in a very difficult conference, but that's fun. So I think we want to keep moving in the right direction here. We're attracting the right kind of people that can play competitive basketball and enjoy being together.
So far as a head coach, what have been some of the things that you've been able to accomplish?
Well, I don't play. So the girls have been able to accomplish some, some back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances, and certainly we've got a win in there in the second round. We've made it to the finals of Landmark Conference several times. That to this point, that's always the goal, for everybody. We've had I think 4 of the last 8 senior scholar athletes in our conference, which is an amazing accomplishment in a very, academically oriented conference. We've had, 2 All-Americans, 3 years in a row, which is amazing. Hasn't happened here at E-Town for 30 years prior to that. We've had some, players of the year, rookie of the year, a lot of all-region kids. So I think the girls have really done an amazing job representing themselves individually and as a group, and just getting the best out of their experience and achieving at a high level.
How has it been like obviously getting to coach in the postseason and going to the conference championships and tournaments and NCAA tournaments?
It's been wonderful. It's really been a wonderful experience. Certainly that's what everyone is playing for. We're all trying to get the same goals. And so you leave hungry if you're not the winner, for sure. But you also, that gives you something to work for the next year. But it's been a great experience. We've made some amazing memories, and a lot of shared memories as a team based on those post regular season runs. And so that's been awesome.
What are some of your future plans moving forward?
For me personally,
Mhm.
yeah, I plan to stay at E-Town. I love my job here, so I'm going to do it, I guess, as long as they let me do it. And that's my future plan. But, certainly want to just keep building this program to the best of my ability and bring in the right people.
What advice would you give those incoming freshmen entering their first year of college women's basketball?
Be humble and hungry. I mean, you need to come in humble because you are probably the best or one of the best people on your high school team. And most likely you are not going to be the best person on the college team. So you need to be humble. You need to recognize that you have a lot to learn, and there's a lot of people that are older than you on the team that can teach that to you if you are willing. And that's where the hungry part comes in. You have to come in ready to learn and be anxious to learn, and ask the older kids, how do you do this? What do you do for this? Ask the coaches what they need to do. That would be my best advice, because it would be very easy to say, okay, I've arrived. I'm a college basketball player now. Well, you want to get better. And so those 2 elements, I think, are important to be able to achieve that.
What advice would you give those juniors in college that are transitioning into being seniors and leading the program?
Just really make sure that they have their academic ducks in a row, so that when they leave here and they decide to go on to, a job, or if they're going to go to grad school or enter a doctoral program, that they really are aligning themselves in the best possible academic position to do that. And then in terms of basketball, certainly it is just enjoy it. Most people don't get to play all 4 years. And so if you have that opportunity to play and be healthy and compete, just enjoy it, because these are your lifelong friends.
What advice would you give those players looking to get into coaching after their playing career?
I think just be willing to do the dirty work in terms of, volunteer at programs, ask coaches, hey, can I help you? What can I learn from you? go to every session you can in terms of coaches meetings that people have. Sometimes people have them locally, and a bunch of coaches just get together and talk to learn some things. There's definitely lots of resources online, and be willing to volunteer if you can't get a paid, GA position, or if you can't get a volunteer position at a college. You have to start asking people, not just hoping someone comes knocking on your door.
What advice would you give those head coaches looking to build their own program and build their own legacy?
Be yourself. You have strengths. You got hired for a certain reason. There's somebody saw something in you that they want you to represent their university or their college. And so as a result, what are your strengths? Use them and fill in your weaknesses with people who are better at you than other things. If you're the smartest person in the room on every topic, you're probably in the wrong room. So bring some people in who are better than you are at certain things.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you on social media along with the program app?
E-Town Blue Jays. My goodness, I don't even know with the social media. I think it's etownbluejays.com. We're on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook.
Thank you again, Coach Veronica Nolt, for your interview, and best of luck in your future at Elizabethtown as a head women's basketball coach.
Thanks so much, Brandon. I appreciate getting a chance to talk with you.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Veronica, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thanks so much.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.